Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Daily. It's Friday, April 1st here with Greg Lawless. I'm Nick Fershaw, and Greg, a full slate of games on the MLS docket this weekend. We're going to start Friday night, the Columbus Crew playing host to FC Dallas, 7:30 p.m. Fox Soccer, Kyle Martino and all the guys from Fox Soccer. What do you make of this game?
Well, this to me is a very important game for both teams because obviously Columbus, no wins, no points so far in the season. They need to get something on the board. They're playing at home Friday night. They're going to have a good crowd out there. They have to do something. They need to get on the board a little bit more, obviously, right? So you're looking at maybe Jeff Cunningham even coming in for the Crew and sparking that offense a little bit. For Dallas, after that loss at home to San Jose, people are wondering, well, where is the FCD of 2010, that fun, exciting, attacking game? Looks like there might be some big shuffling in the lineup for Dallas. Could be that the young 18-year-old Fabian Castillo comes in at the left side and he would be running at the defense all day long. I also think important for them, David Ferreira. He needs to start playing the way we saw him play in 2010 when he was named as the MVP for the league. You
mentioned Jeff Cunningham, obviously a return to play against FC Dallas. Jeff Cunningham did so well there off the bench and in a starting role for the Hoops the last couple of seasons. We've also heard talk about Ruben Luna maybe getting some more time for FC Dallas. Again, that game 7:30 p.m. Fox Soccer, Columbus Crew and FC Dallas. Let's move to the Saturday slate. Some of the bigger games will go out west. The San Jose Earthquakes playing host to the still winless Seattle Sounders, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. What do we make of this one?
Well, you know, 3 games so far for the Sounders, and they've only gotten 1 draw out of those 3 games. But I think that game against Houston last week at home, that gave them some confidence. They're also getting some players back from injury. So you start thinking about Brad Evans. He showed up last week. Nate Jakwa also back playing again. I also am interested to see whether maybe Mauro Rosales, the Argentine playmaker, ends up getting a larger role for them this week. We'll see if that happens, but I think that they need to get in the attack a little bit more. There's a question about whether Freddie Montero is going to be ready to go. We'll see. It's probably a game time decision for Ziggy Schmidt and the coaching staff. On the other side, San Jose have to be feeling very good after that win at FC Dallas last week. Chris Wondolowski getting off the schneid, getting a couple of goals in this one, including a beautiful turn and firing that one away past Hartman. So I think they're feeling very good, and their defense, fantastic. So it's going to be very tough to break them down. This should be a very good game for both sides.
You mentioned the injury report for the Seattle Sounders. Freddie Montero, the Colombian striker, question mark. He had minor wrist surgery this week, so a question mark there for the Seattle Sounders. Let's focus on one more game from Saturday night, perhaps the game of the weekend. It's the LA Galaxy playing host to the undefeated Philadelphia Union, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. This is a big test for the Philadelphia Union. We spoke with Peter Novak, the manager, on Extra Time Radio on Thursday. He said this is a big test for them. They go into an LA Galaxy and face a team that probably will get Landon Donovan back, but they still have some question marks too.
Yeah, they do. The Galaxy, you know, what's going to happen is Omar Gonzalez going to be ready to go. That's a big thing for them, I think, to see how that works. And also, you know, is Juan Pablo Angel going to start to show? Is he going to get the start this time? Is he going to be out there? And after that 4-1 loss to Real Salt Lake, is this the game when Juan Pablo Angel starts to dominate for the Galaxy that we've all been waiting for? But as you said, we spoke to Peter Novak on Extra Time Radio, and he said not only is it a big test, this is really a test to really put themselves out there. Are they going to be contenders? Now, obviously, if they don't get the win, maybe they just get a draw, that would be huge for them. If they play well and lose maybe 1-0, that would be huge for them. The Galaxy right now are that litmus test for a lot of teams, especially a club like Philly, who are trying to prove themselves. Obviously, the Union, very improved this year on top of the Eastern Conference. This should be a great game.
One other game we want to mention from Saturday night, that's the New York Red Bulls playing host to the Houston Dynamo out at Red Bull Arena, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. This is Juan Agudelo's first game back from national team duty. We've seen so much hype surrounding him. Our very own Jonah Friedman wrote a column, and we've heard Thierry Henry saying, back off this kid, give him a little bit of room to breathe.
Well, everyone keeps saying back off, but here's my question, and I think some other people are wondering this. If he can't handle the hype, maybe he's not the one, right? It's not as if Ronaldo or Pelé or any of these guys weren't hyped crazily when they were young as well. Messi has been getting hyped since he was about 12 years old for Argentina and then at Barcelona. So let's see. I think Agudelo actually has the mindset that he can handle this hype and actually feeds off of it. There's something about his game that seems to feed off of the crowd and feed off of all of this stuff. So I think, you know what? it's our job almost as the media to hype these players, to give them that pressure. Then we'll see if they can handle those expectations. I think Agudelo can do it.
Again, the New York Red Bulls, 7:30 p.m. against the Houston Dynamo. And there's news in the Dynamo camp. They're looking to sign Jamaican international midfielder Javon Watson. That might address some of the needs they're facing.
Yeah, especially because there's still some question mark right now about Jeff Cameron. Will he be able to go? We'll find out maybe on Friday whether Javon Watson signs for Houston. And this would be their second Jamaican international and their third, actually, considering they have Lavelle Palmer also in the midfield. And they also signed Jermaine Taylor earlier this year. So it seems like there's a little bit of the reggae flair showing up in Houston.
Yeah, I want to also mention the New England Revolution. We've heard talk about them seeking a designated player for a long time now. And there's news that if they're going to do it, it might be a striker. That's something that the Revs could definitely use.
Yeah, Jonathan Kraft, owner-operator for the Revolution, coming out and saying if they get a DP, they are going to get a striker. And that's the way you need to go. I think if you're going to go and spend the money for a designated player, go and get an attacker, right? It's easy to destroy, as they used to say, but it's hard to create. So you have to pay the money to get those creators that create the goals.
Yeah, even in the middle of the season, and we see a lot of hype around getting new players, there's always great news. You can follow those headlines on MLSsoccer.com. Greg, you mentioned Extra Time Radio. One last reminder, you can download it on Buzzsprout and iTunes. Peter Novak and John Harkes, and we talked a little ping pong. We didn't know Peter Novak was a great ping pong player in Poland.
Division II in Poland as a kid. Instead, he went for soccer.
Yeah. Again, you can find that on Buzzsprout and iTunes, and all the latest headlines on MLSsoccer.com.